we have landed back in Studio K. I'm sitting here with Filthy Kittens. How are you all feeling after that wonderful performance?
Great.
Yeah, it felt really good. It was a good run through.
Really hot. Great.
Yeah.
Hot stuff, according to everyone.
Hot stuff for sure. All right, first things first, I want you all to introduce yourselves, your name and what you play in the group, please.
All right, we'll go down the line.
Yo, I'm Mason playing bass.
Henry, guitar.
I'm Mitchell. I play the drums.
And me and Mason sing too, so.
Yeah, totally. There's some great two-part harmonies in there. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so what we heard from you today, we had two songs that are out on streaming platforms from Trouble in Mayberry, correct? Your EP that you have out. And then you had two unreleased ones.
Yeah, we did a little mix.
Yeah.
So the first one, Waiting for Your Lovin', is on the record. It's the opening track. Second one's a new song called It's All Right. Third one is Staring at the Sun, which is the closing track on the album. And then, well, it's like a mini album. It's like 7 songs, so people can kind of make that determination for themselves. And then the fourth song we played today was Ways to Go, which is also a new song.
Yeah, totally. Why did you decide to go with the two that you did from the record that you have out?
Well, I tried to make it cool, like, we had planned on it to be the beginning, the opening song and the closer of the album, but that's not really that wasn't intentional. They're just songs that we like. We felt they were strong, so we thought we should play them.
Yeah,
so.
They definitely are strong. I love
Thanks.
it. I'm curious about Trouble in Mayberry, the title of that album. Tell me why you chose to set the album, so to speak, in Mayberry.
Do you know the Andy Griffith Show?
Yeah, the fictional town of Mayberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it's from.
Okay.
My parents would say, if we were driving around or walking around town and we'd see like a cop pulled someone over. I grew up in a small town with Mason in Red Wing.
Okay.
So it's very chill. And if the cops are pulling someone over, it's usually for something that's not that big of a deal. Yeah. So my parents would kind of sarcastically say, "Oh, there's trouble in Mayberry."
Okay.
So
cool.
Then when we were putting the album together, like, it's a lot of like rock songs, you know, like it's just rock, you know.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, well, nowadays it's not really that revolutionary to do like rock and roll music. It's not really that punk. It's not been punk for a long time. You know, I guess just like I'm saying that somewhat superficially because music is still, you know, a transfer of all sorts of energy that can be pure no matter when it is. But the whole concept to me was like, well, we're really causing a lot of trouble here, you know? So it's kind of sarcastic, like, trouble in Mayberry. I want to make it a little bit self-aware.
Yeah,
so.
I love that. That's awesome. And tell me about some of the lyrical themes that you kind of explore throughout the album.
Lots of stuff, like classic kind of like love songs, but also there's songs about being a kid. There's songs about some political stuff too. Yeah. Like Waiting for Your Lovin' doesn't really seem like a political song, but I wrote that about my friend who's politically different than me, and I just felt he was being kind of selfish, and he had his walls up, you know, and just being a masculine guy, and so we're all waiting for his lovin', you know.
That's a great way to put it. I like that. Yeah.
So do you guys? I mean, the album we did, a lot of the songs are old, like songs that I did in older bands that like never really made it out the hard drive.
Totally.
Or off Bandcamp anywhere farther than that, or SoundCloud. So I changed a lot of lyrics. We did a lot of overdubs, and we, you know, remixed all sorts of stuff. And then there's a lot of new songs on the album that came out last year too. And the themes are kind of all over the place because of that. But then because when I grew up in Red Wing, we grew up way down there. That was also this double meaning with the name of the album. Like, oh, well, this album literally has songs that were like done in Red Wing when we were growing up. Like, there's some songs that were started in like 2015. Wow. So where like the actual recordings, some of the instruments are from then. So it's kind of fun to go back. And then now we're getting into new stuff too, so I'm excited for that.
Totally. Well, so this group is relatively new. You guys have only been together for just about a year, correct?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can tell that you all have experience playing. So I'm guessing that you've played in other groups before this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So were some of these songs written for those groups and maybe didn't make it?
Kinda.
Okay.
I mean, the bands that I was in high school, it was like before I met Mitch. You know, we just met like a year or two ago, like 2 years ago now. Cool. So and started playing together. and Mitch has been in bands. Like you can explain, like we can maybe go down the line and
Let's do it.
explain just like the bands we've been in or our history. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I had kind of a background playing in like small jazz combos or even some kind of indie electronic stuff. And yeah, Henry hit me up. We kind of were following each other on social media for a while, and he hit me up and said, "Hey, I'm starting this Filthy Kittens thing. Let's just jam and see if we jive." And I think we did. So yeah, it's been really nice playing together. And I think the last 2 years we've been able to really like connect musically, and sort of it's nice how we can just keep evolving the same songs that we've been working on and keep making improvements together. So
pleasure doing business with your partner. It's been nice, real nice. And then Mason, I mean, you can take the mic, but me and Mason go back like really far.
Yeah, I met you in language arts class, like 8th grade, and we shortly after that started playing. It didn't take long, and I played in a lot of bands in high school. It was really fun.
Did the two of you ever play together in high school?
All the time.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, our main squeeze, the road flares was the baby, and it was super fun. And obviously we all grew up, graduated high school, did other things. I did a lot more like professional music work, playing on like a cruise ship.
Oh wow.
I played at Valley Fair, so if you've ever,
Like cover gig stuff? Or,
a lot of cover gigs. It can be kind of the grind.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's where the money is, though, I've heard.
But it does pay. So, but I think it's a lot more fun, a lot more satisfying playing original music.
Yeah.
It's just much better for the soul,
Yeah.
if you ask me. Anyway.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, love playing music, playing live, and especially with someone who I've been playing with for so long. Yeah. It's a real special treat.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pass it back.
Yeah, it is.
Totally.
Yeah.
So of the music that you've recorded so far, you were saying that a lot of it was kind of grabbed from the past, but this new stuff that you're now writing, how do you go about writing as a group?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'll kind of like write songs and bring them up to the table.
Cool.
And that's how it's been.
Yeah.
But it's subject to change, If we got a lot of shows coming up and it's just kind of busy, like, okay, I'll write some songs and do some demos. We'll kind of learn them and practice together, just get recordings of it on our phones, keep listening to it, get back together. And it's kind of typical run-of-the-mill, I imagine.
Totally.
Yeah.
So in Trouble in Mayberry, when I was listening through, it seems like there's a lot of instrumentation in that and beyond the trio that I'm seeing in front of me right now. Mm-hmm. So are you guys the core members of the group, and then there are others who perform live with you sometimes, or how does that work?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And how was it kind of bringing those songs to life? Like when you did have to perform, like say for your album release show, when you had to perform those songs, how did you go about doing that? When there are like horns and keys and stuff like on the album, how'd you transfer that live?
Yeah, well, we definitely had to make some decisions about instrumentation, but luckily for that show, there was a lot of people on stage. We had the rhythm section, and then there was another guitar, and then our cellist Irene, who plays with us sometimes, was able to play that show as well. So we had quite a bit going on stage, and like keyboard parts. Try to keep it simple, where if we don't need it, But it always helps with the dynamic if we have it, But but we've been having a lot of fun lately, especially like getting our arrangements as a trio all dialed in, because it's harder in a way because you have to make dynamics be dramatic without a bunch of instruments. But at the same time, it's kind of nice because there's less noise.
Yeah, not as busy.
Yeah, the canvas is more open. So we've been having fun with that. We'll see what happens in the future. If other instruments come in, or we're starting to record our songs for this EP that we're working on right now, and we're discussing that we want to experiment more. Okay. So we'll see. I don't want to hold myself too accountable to like get a backing track system, but I mean we're open to it because it could be fun to throw in some fun like kind of digital kind of layers to it.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? We'll see. We're gonna jump into the recording and just find out see what happens.
Totally. So, if you did take on maybe another instrument in the group, what would it be? Do you think?
I don't know, guitar.
Okay. Yeah.
Or keys would be really nice, I think. Keyboards can do all sorts of sounds.
Totally. Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool. And so about kind of the sound of this group, what drew you to, would you call it folk rock?
Yeah, that's definitely how we started.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just like kind of a nice basics kind of thing for me and us to play and just like start off, and it allows for some freedom. I think it's more organic. So, I mean, the context is not like there's not as much pressure, I think, for it to be like super polished.
Yeah.
And then we kind of just like naturally started playing louder and doing more rock stuff, and then at least it was natural for me because I just during COVID I felt so pent up. I was like, I really want to scream. So then I kind of pushed us in that direction, and then now we're starting to do some newer stuff. Like It's All Right, the second song, that's kind of a little bit more like, I don't know, like poppy. I don't know if that's like the best way to put it, but or like it's like a wannabe shoegaze.
Sure. Yeah.
Lorem core. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We try to just focus on the songs being solid.
Yeah.
At least I try to do that. So if I ever have to play by myself, I'm not gonna totally fall on my face.
Yeah. Totally.
Just keep it simple.
Of course. So you were saying that you're kind of the primary songwriter for this group. Can you tell me about some songwriters that you were inspired by?
Yeah. Well, first of all, when I'll take stuff to the band, and everybody has input, so there's definitely credit to go around on musical levels and in all sorts of ways. And then songwriters I'm really inspired by. There's so many.
Well, I mean, the first single that you put out as in this group was a Bob
Oh, you're
Dylan
trying
song.
to cue me up. Yeah. All right, Robert Zimmerman.
Yes.
Bob Dylan is great. Yeah, he's got a lot of good songs, a lot of good lyrics. So for sure, him. And I don't know. I take inspiration from all sorts of people when it comes to instruments, and then also when it comes to vocals too, and storytelling, and just attitude, I guess. So I don't know. I can't think of anybody.
You guys have any songwriters that you're really inspired by, or maybe even players? It's a tough one. Yeah, I know.
I love Kurt Weill.
Nice.
I know he's been here too.
He has, yeah.
And
Somebody mispronounced one of his song titles, and that we play that on air all the time. Yeah, it's iconic.
I hear it all the time. Yeah, love. I mean, that's another real simple performer.
Yeah,
that keeps keeps songs really simple, keeps things moving along, and just got a good vibe. He's a big. I'm a big fan personally.
Awesome.
Do you have anybody you want to shout out?
One that came to mind would be S. Carey, Sean Carey, member of Bon Iver, and I think his songs are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. They are. Dang, I didn't know you. We got to listen to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
All That We Grow, that's one of my favorite. All We Grow, that's one of my favorite songs by them. I mean, I guess like it's pretty obvious. So like aesthetically, like there was so much reference to the Rolling Stones in our on our album, and like in the live show too. So I think that I should credit them because that was a big instrumental inspiration, because I love how they could have a big song that has like every instrument you could think of in some basement, it's all so, crazy lo-fi, or in the 80s, I guess they got kind of hi-fi, but then they'd play club shows where it's just the guitars. There's no like big horn section or bunch of background vocals. I guess I'm talking like late 70s. They'd just go and do a raw show, and they could still do the songs justice. And that's when I realized, like, oh yeah, these songs are good. Like they don't need all the extra seasoning,
Totally.
So that was a big inspiration as far as having a band and wanting to be able to have songs that translate energy wise. So that's been definitely an inspiration.
Yeah.
But there's so many bands. I mean, it's just good musicians know how to do stuff like that. So just wherever you can look, you can find it.
Yeah. Yeah, that versatility that you're talking about is key. Just being able to have a song that can be both big and simple and work in both ways. I think that's huge. And I think down to the way that you're like physically moving too as a performer, like Mick Jagger is in there for sure.
Yeah, and Keith will play up on the neck, with the pigs. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. All right, cool. We're getting to time right now, but I just have a few more questions. One I wanted to ask you is the name Filthy Kittens. Where does that come from?
I wanted something that people could say in a loud environment and be understood. And that was definitely like a big, because there's so many times I hear people's band name. I'm like, what is that band name? Like, dang, it's hard to hear. But so that's like a superficial thing. But then also like, I was kind of realizing like, well, we're cats. Musicians call each other cats.
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, we don't really call each other cats, but like someone could interpret it that way. There's but the main inspiration when I was on the word generator and I was like, things were coming to me.
Yeah.
I found the adjective and the noun separately, and put them together because my grandma has a hobby farm and there's all these cats that she has to take care of and they keep repopulating and like, they're so nasty. Like they got eye crusty stuff, like infections and like they're always, she feeds them, but there's a lot of them. So that was something that came to mind, like Filthy Kittens. It's kind of cute, but there's a little bit of dirt on it, of course. So that was kind of something that I felt represents us too, because especially right away we're doing the folk kind of stuff, and then now we're still doing all sorts of variety with stuff. It's not just all hard rock. Because then when I started telling people the band name, like in the band, like what about this name? They're like, I don't know. Because it's kind of like it gives me like a hair metal vibe at first when I heard it, and that was kind of what we all thought. But then it's like, no, well, what if we play music that's not hair metal? I think that'll be kind of powerful, reclaim that kind of energy, So I'm also wearing Punisher shirts. We got to reclaim that as well, So that's just kind of, and there's other ways to interpret it too, that my parents always yell at me about having. But I think that people can kind of think of that on their own. But yeah, it's so far so good. People have been able to understand it when I tell them it in loud environments. So
that's a great answer. Like a lot of people have one sentence to say about their band title, but you had a lot of a lot of information there.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah, totally. I love it. All right, another question I'd like to ask you is if you want to alert our Radio K listeners of any shows you have coming up or releases. We were talking about 2 new songs that you're playing today. Those are part of a new release that you may or may not want to talk about?
We're taking a little bit of a show break, I guess, at the moment. I mean, you never know, but we're going to focus on this recording that we got coming up. And yeah, so the EP is on the way. And you can follow there are social media platforms that we exist on if you might want to check them out. And then we'll provide updates on those channels regarding those kinds of releases.
Cool. What's your Instagram tag?
Filthy Kittens. Yeah. Oh, also the handle was open, so that was a part. I mean, if it was like if they were all taken, I was like, or what am I gonna do?
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. And so you said you're taking a show break for now. There's not any.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never know. You
never know. Totally. All right.
Wintertime in Minnesota.
Okay. Cool. And then for that EP, is there a month and a year you could give us, or no?
Spring
of next year.
Yeah, spring.
Okay, exciting, very exciting. Awesome. And those 2 songs that we heard today, they're going to be part of it, correct?
Yep.
Nice. So you teased it. Great. All right, last question for you, and it's one that I ask every artist that comes in. I want you to build a dream bill for yourself. Filthy Kittens gets to be on it, and you get 3 other bands, performers that you would love to share a stage with. Each of you gets one.
I guess I'll do the Stones then.
Do the Stones
before they're like dead.
Yeah, and it can be dead or alive too.
Oh yeah.
This is
okay.
Imaginary.
Oh, we're getting metaphysical.
Yeah.
Wow, dead or alive. Is that a band?
Does that spin me right round?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, Tom Waits.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good choice.
I think we got to put the Eagles on there and play "Take It Easy," which we always cover. So we got to cover their song in front of them. So
yeah, or they let us come on stage with them for the encore, and we can really have some fun.
What if all of those groups shared the stage at the same time? That would be
We better get off. You know? But yeah, Dude Fest, 2024.
Yeah, totally. Totally. All right. Well, it's a great bill.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Filthy Kittens, for coming on today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Radio K.
Radio K is the best radio station of all time.
That's right. He's telling the truth.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Awesome. All right. We're going to kick it back to the booth for some more local music until 5 p.m. Please stick around for it. This is Radio K, Real College Radio.